Amazing to be, 2 weeks into a campaign and have a staff that's this deep and with this much experience, and that's exciting to me. We have a few more spots to fill, so send resumes our way. I decided to run for Congress. I spent the last couple of years really thinking about what I should do next in politics, and for a while it seemed to be what I really should do was help John Edwards, who I hope continues to do well. But as I started thinking about what happens after that, where I could make the biggest difference, it seemed that Congress was the real opportunity where I could have the strongest voice for change. And as I started thinking about the issues I cared about, and there's a lot of them, what I really felt I needed to focus on more than anything, my top priorities in Congress would be campaign finance reform. That should come as no surprise. And it's exciting to have gone from one of the few people talking about that back in 1992 to just having seen a presidential candidate campaign in which the two people who got the most votes in Iowa, Barack Obama and John Edwards, campaigned very strongly on that and did not take any money from PACs or lobbyists themselves. Secondly, global warming. I think it's all becoming very clear to most of us. So that is a huge problem. That may be the single biggest issue we've ever had to face as a civilization. And we need greater leadership in Congress on that. We've got leadership here in Des Moines. Frank County's doing a great job. We've got some leadership at the state level with the legislature passing the Climate Change Advisory Council. We've seen leadership around the country, but in Washington there is a vacuum. There is nothing or very little going on. There's a lot going on, but it's not going anywhere. And this issue needs more direction, more members of Congress who really see it as important. And third, and of equal importance to those two to me, is fiscal responsibility and budget reform. I am fed up with the way our debt continues to grow. I'm fed up with the abuse of earmarks. Requiring the congressmen or inviting them to at least indicate which earmarks have their names attached to it, that's a great start. But we've got to go a lot further than that. It makes a mockery of the whole budgeting process, and it creates a train for pork barreling that is not only unnecessary but very destructive to the overall fiscal health of our economy, and our budget. And that's an issue that I'm confident will resonate not just among Democrats but among Republicans and independents as well. Other issues I care deeply about: poverty, health care. Those will also be issues that I want to take a leadership role in Congress. There are many other reasons why I ran. As again, I looked at my concerns, my passions, and I compared them with Congressman Boswell's record. Even though I have a lot of respect for the congressman, I think he's a man of dignity. He's served well this country and our state. But we disagree on many, many issues. We certainly disagree on the war in Iraq. I would not have supported that. I opposed it, in fact, even before it started. Leonard Boswell also supported the Patriot Act, which I think has involved a significant infringement on our civil liberties. I would not have voted for that. It's a long list, and help me as I try to remember it all. The policy director, what am I missing? The CAFE standards. I would support significantly raising the CAFE standards, and I know Congressman Boswell opposed some of that. What? Oh yeah, back in 2005, the bankruptcy bill. Retired judges, consumer advocates, a lot of folks thought that was a really bad idea. It was presented as a way to try to crack down on abuse, but the abuse was actually fairly minimal when studied in detail. And I believe the credit card industry spent about $100 million lobbying for that bill. Congressman Boswell joined a very small minority of Democrats in supporting it. I would not have done that. Those are just a few of the issues. I'm going to be talking about more of the differences. I mean, this is going to be a positive campaign, but I think people want to know how I'm different than Congressman Boswell. And those are just a few of the issues where we disagree, and disagree strongly. Beyond that, I'm going to bring an energy and a passion and a style of constituent service to this district, to this job that I think people are hungering for. It became really clear in this last election that folks want change. They're tired of the status quo. They want a government they can believe in again. They want elected officials that are truly fighting for them. And too often I have seen elected officials at the state and at the federal level who, when approached by a constituent about a problem, they say, well, I don't get involved in those local issues, or I don't get involved in those state issues. I've never said that to anybody, and that's probably why I got myself in lots of trouble and ended up helping people all over the state on different issues. That's okay. I don't mind doing that, and I want to continue to do that in Washington. And a couple examples that come to mind. There's a proposal for a massive beltway around northeast Polk County. Landowners don't want it. Farmers don't want it. It's an infringement on property rights, among other things. And Congressman Boswell has helped support that effort with an earmark. And I personally have done everything I could to help slow it down. I think it's a bad idea. Similar situation with an airport in Mahaska County. When people bring those issues to my attention, I'm not going to say that's a local issue, and then on the other side of it, try to funnel them some money to help get the development going. I'm going to say, look, this is something you care deeply about, so I'm going to be supporting you and trying to do what I can to work on it. So to me, those are some differences. I will talk very, very briefly about the political side of this. I know that interests a lot of folks as well, and there are certainly legitimate political questions. This is the best time ever for me to run. I mean, I've been talking about change since 1992. When I first ran, when David Yepsen was pointing out all the problems in the Iowa legislature at the time with the Iowa Trust scandal, I'm sure you remember that. That was a good time for me to run. But my message hasn't changed much. I was talking about campaign finance reform, about environmental protection, and about universal health care. Well, those are still my three issues. And if anything, they've become even more prominent. But they've also become significantly more central to the campaigns of a lot of other people. Again, I mentioned John Edwards and Barack Obama. That's what's exciting to me. And it seems that the electorate is really becoming electrified, if you will, at the thought that these issues are moving forward. I don't know how else to explain the 239,000 people who showed up in the Democratic caucuses. Again, twice as many as we had Republicans. This fall is going to be a great year for Democrats, particularly for Democrats who represent change, for Democrats who talk about populist issues, progressive issues, in a way that people can understand why those issues are important and central to their lives. So this is a great year to run for a Democrat who has my perspective on these issues. Again, I will also point out that in 2006, Congressman Boswell did win in the 3rd district, but he won by a margin that was half of the margin that Chet Culver won by. That says something to me. It says that maybe his style is not resonating. Also back in 2002, Tom Harkin won by a significantly larger margin than Boswell won that seat by. So my feeling is that, yeah, we need a Democrat who can win bigger in this district. And again, Harkin, who is a solid progressive, won by a much bigger margin in 2002. The other thing I'm concerned about, 2012 is right around the corner in terms of election cycles. That's the year Iowa is probably going to lose a congressional seat. I think Democrats ought to be thinking very seriously about this. We've got 2 Democratic incumbents, Fraley and Loebsack, who will have 6 years to work their way into redistricting. They will have some background, some time to take that incumbency and build a base. If we don't have change in this district soon, that's not going to happen. The 3rd district might not remain Democratic. And so I think for those who are really interested in seeing our party have 3 out of 4 congressional seats in 2012, this is a really good year to put somebody new in this seat who can begin to build a base and make sure that this seat remains Democratic in 2012. Again, I've covered a lot of ground on issues, on differences between myself and Congressman Boswell. I've also talked about the political side. I want to stop now and entertain your questions and comments. Yes?
What do you think about Senator Harkin announcing his support for Congressman Boswell today?
That's the first I've heard of it, but I'm not surprised. And again, incumbents tend to support incumbents. And even though I think if you look at our records, Harkin and I have a lot more in common than Senator Harkin and Congressman Boswell do, I'm not surprised or dismayed. I don't expect a lot of sitting Democratic officials to support me. That's not surprising. That's the safe, conservative, and expected thing to do.
Are you disappointed by the timing at all, though? This is kind of your day to make your announcement.
Well, I'm flattered.